doing? Has it been like a month and a half since I've been here? Yes, let's not talk about it. Okay, hey guys, it is your girl Deborah, student, singer, songwriter, everything else in between. Welcome back to my channel. And it is official, I have released my first single of the year. It's called Supernova Walk. It's the outro that you guys hear a lot in my videos, and I'm very excited. There will be more music coming out this year, so I have made a separate channel for that. Go check it out. I know that I have disappeared for like a while, and this video is going to be extremely late, and I apologize, y'all. I needed to take a mental health break for last year, like the ending of last year. I was just going down a spiral, and I was taking like 3 courses all at once that were like 12 credits, and it was just so much work, and I needed the credits, so I needed to put my academics first, and I just disappeared for a bit. I'm sorry. I wish this video was way earlier, but you know what? Better late than never, as I say. Just a quick shout out to you guys because we've hit like 13,000,4 subscribers, almost at 13,5K, and I am just so shocked that like this happened when I disappeared. I deleted everything. Like I deleted YouTube Studio, like I deleted everything, so I didn't check my channel for a while, and I'm just so grateful that you guys are here, that you guys like the channel. Thank you literally so much. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it and let's yap. So this 2025, also Happy New Year. This 2025, I've kind of just been wanting to do a little bit of a different format for my videos where I just yap a little bit more. My Blake Lively, like It Ends With Us video was so fun for me because I just sat in front of the camera and I just yapped. Don't get me wrong, I love being analytic, but sometimes like a girl just loves to yappity yap. So I thought I would talk about Glinda and Wicked and how like there's so many similarities between her and Coriolanus Snow. I really, like, when I was watching the movie, I couldn't unsee how these two characters are just master manipulators, and they both have very similar ways in which they climbed the totem pole, so to speak, how they moved socially, and how they came both into power. And don't get me wrong, okay, I know Coriolanus Snow was responsible for a system that killed children. So that's a huge difference. Let's not get that twisted. And I understand that. And that's why I compare Glinda to a young Coriolanus Snow, especially their beginnings, and how they both perpetuate a system in which other people suffer and other people are victims. It's just in the world of Wicked, it's the animals that suffer the most and the outcasts, versus in the Hunger Games, it's literally children and anyone who goes against the capital. The first thing I noticed is that both Coriolanus and Glinda know how to use their charm to get what they want in society. Right? So let's start with Coriolanus, and I'll give you an example. Young Coriolanus is a handsome guy, okay? He's from a rich family in the capital. At that time, we're piss poor. Nobody else knew that, and so he used that to his advantage, and he knew how to just be sociable. He knew how to charm people. He knew what it took to be in that society, how to present yourself. In the book, you know, you would have his POV all the time, and in his POV, he knew what to say, what not to say, how to behave, who were the right people to be friends with. He understood social mobility, and he understood the tactics that is necessary for you to socialize with other people, whether you want to move up in your society or in the sort of group that you're in. And Coriolanus very much understood that. Like, those were the first 2 things that he understood, and he understood that appearing as a charming person, both outwardly, especially with his clothing, especially with how he looked, and in his speech, in his mannerisms, was extremely important to have more social mobility. And this is the same thing that Glinda does. She is a white woman who, in the world of Oz, fits the beauty standard, and she knows that, and she knows that she can use her social charms to make people perceive her a certain way, just like how Coriolanus was also perceived in a certain way despite being literally piss poor. Glinda does the exact same thing. She understands that because of her beauty, because of her charm and her social standing, how she dresses, what she wears, who she talks to, who she socializes with, that helps her move up socially in the totem pole, and she uses that to her advantage. And she's a master manipulator. All the time, she understands that she mustn't appear a certain way. She wants everyone to perceive her as being good. Even though she's a very selfish person, and she's not actually a good person in my opinion, at least for the first half. And I know some people are gonna come in my comments and be like, Glinda gets better, Glinda gets better. Listen, I will say that when part 2 comes out in November, bitch. Until then, we're talking about Glinda in the now. The Glinda that I saw on my television screen, thank you. Because I'm tired. Like, every time you say something negative about Glinda, everyone's like, no, but she gets better. Okay, but this is also her behavior. So let's call it out. Period. Glinda's not a good person. She is the villain to me. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why we're gaslighting ourselves like this. Like, she's not a great friend, but she knows that image is important in society, and she uses this to her advantage, just like Coriolanus know. And I think that's the first similarity between the both of them. I think the scene in which Glinda and Fiyero meet is like a telltale sign of Glinda knowing just how to behave in the right situations. And actually, there's more scenes with that, but the first scene that I found very interesting is that when she meets Fiyero, she immediately sort of goes into this mating dance in which they both look at each other and they just both like understand, because they're from, you know, parts of society in which they know how to behave. Like, when they both see each other, she just becomes like a sly fox almost, and she knows just how much to talk and how much not to talk, and what to do and how to follow him to just get him to be her boyfriend. Like, she knows the automatic dance to do so, and it's so interesting. Same thing with the scene in which she's talking to Fiyero and Glinda. The professor has been taken, and so she changes her name from Galinda to Glinda, and it's like, girl, what did you think you were achieving with that? Nothing. But the thing is, she knows what she's doing by making sure that she, in the social view, is seen as a martyr, as someone who's just seen as good. That's what she wants to achieve. That's what she's always about, and that's what she always wants to do, right? And I think that's so interesting, and that's what makes her like such a good manipulator. If you know how to be socially tactful, you can manipulate things the way things are viewed, and you can manipulate the way that people see you. Coriolanus and Glinda understand this, and they both use this to their advantage. The second part is that both of these characters betray their friendship, because again, for both of them, they don't really have a friendship, in my personal opinion. These two people don't know how to be good friends. That's the ultimate truth. With Coriolanus, he becomes friends with Sejanus, and he doesn't really become friends with Sejanus, let's be so fucking for real. He just unfortunately ends up in situations in which he ends up saving Sejanus, and because of the fact that he saves Sejanus, people perceive him and Sejanus as friends, and he just goes along with it until it's no longer convenient for him, and then he literally leads him to his death. Like, do you know what I mean? For Coriolanus, he goes along with it because he knows that Sejanus is from a good family, and also that he just doesn't want to tip how everyone perceives him, and he literally just goes along with Sejanus, even though in his own head, in his own POV, he hates Sejanus. Like, they're not really friends, but him being perceived as friends with Sejanus ends up in him being able to take advantage after Sejanus dies. Snow literally uses his family's money, even though he is the reason why their son is dead, and he uses this to his advantage. And Glinda does the exact same thing. Glinda and Elphaba, to me, personally, if I was Elphaba, me and Glinda would never be friends. I would never claim her as my friend. I don't give a flying. That girl is not a friend. And again, don't come at me with, oh, she becomes better. Screw you. That is not friendship. That is not a healthy friendship in the slightest. And I'm tired of being gaslit by everyone and saying that, oh, but it's a story about, no. Because to me, their exchange is not friendship. To me, their exchange was like a mutually beneficial exchange rather than friendship. Friendship requires kindness, loyalty, seeing another person for who they are. Glinda hates Elphaba. Let's start there. And the only reason why she eventually helps out Elphaba socially is because Elphaba does something for her that helps Glinda, or Glinda, I'm just gonna call her Glinda. And that's the reason why Glinda even looks at her in the first place, like in a different way. It's not out of like love or care or like, oh, this person's actually a great person. No. The reason why they even became quote unquote friends in the first place is because Elphaba helped Glinda achieve something that she wanted, that she couldn't achieve by herself. And even when they first have that exchange of her being popular, of her singing the popular song, literally in the song, Glinda cannot help but being so self-serving. She's so self-centered and so self-serving, to the point where even in the song she says, I'm gonna make you popular, but not as popular as me. Would you call that a friendship? Because I don't call that a friend. I call that a mutually beneficial exchange. Even in the song, right? Like, she still refers to Elphaba as somebody who will never be as her. She doesn't see Elphaba as an equal. And to me, that's not friendship. I think personally, Glinda looked at Elphaba, at least in the first movie, as like a DIY project, which she literally sings about in Popular. She doesn't see her for like the beauty that's really within. Elphaba is her project. She's her little like lost puppy that she adopted, and now she's gonna make her more popular. Like, that's literally the whole point of the song. And I'm so tired of being gaslit to believe otherwise. I don't care. Those two are not friends. I think it's so interesting that the way both of these characters move is by betraying their so-called friend, right? So Glinda eventually takes the place that Elphaba was supposed to take, and that's how she gets social mobility. But without Elphaba taking her to the Emerald City, which I argue she should have never done that in the first place, but that's just my opinion, Glinda would have never been able to be Glinda the Good Witch if it wasn't for Elphaba. Like, let's not forget that. Same thing with Sejanus Plinth and Coriolanus. If Sejanus and Coriolanus were not friends and they knew each other's family, Coriolanus would have never had enough money to finish his schooling and work alongside Dr. Gall, and he would have never become President Snow. By betraying both of their friends, basically, these two were able to move up the ladder. It's just Glinda. We just have a little bit more mercy on Glinda because her system doesn't involve killing human children, but you can still see the patterns in between the both characters, and that's what irks me out the most, is how they both had to betray someone. And it's not even had to, like it was a difficult decision. They both betrayed someone to preserve themselves, to preserve their own skin, and to preserve their own like eventual ambitious goals. The final part that just really got to me, in which I thought like both of these characters are so freaking similar, is like the both of them end up upholding a system that abuses other people, even though they are aware of what the system does, right? So for Coriolanus, he knows, we can see that the Hunger Games is not an okay thing, right? But I will argue Coriolanus does miss a little bit of an empathy chip to begin with, so, you know, fair game. Coriolanus is very much aware about what the system is. He knows what Dr. Gall is doing, and he has been able to see the other side, because when he eventually becomes a peacekeeper, he's able to see District 12, he's able to see the other districts and how people live and live amongst those people. And even then, he doesn't have any empathy for these people, because in his heart, he still believes that he's a capital kid and he's different from these people and he's above these people, and that's just not what serves him. And he just couldn't handle it, right? And I know that everyone loves to say because of the film, like Coriolanus went crazy because he was in love with Lucy Gray, and then when Lucy Gray left him, that's when he really lost his shit. No, Coriolanus in the book was losing his shit low-key slowly, and that was just the final straw. But Coriolanus didn't really like living in the district because he just always felt different from these people. Like, he was always like, no, like, I'm from the capital. He held himself to a different standard. He held himself to this point in which he just believed that he was just like above these people, right? And when Sejanus was mixing with more of the people from District 12, he would literally just like reproach Sejanus all the time, like, why are you doing this? Like, they're rebels. And mind you, his father died in the war that was started by the rebels, so he also has personal issues with that. But you can see that when Coriolanus is done after literally being the reason why his friend died, and he moves up the ranks, what does he do? He doesn't break the system, he doesn't care, he upholds it and then betters it, which makes it 10 times worse. And then he just continues a system of oppression until his final death. And Glinda does the same thing. Now, of course, is it the same as a system that kills children? No. But Glinda holds up a system in which there's clearly a fraud who sits there in Oz. He's not the real wizard. She knows this. She's seen this. And what does she do in that very moment? She does not fight. She does not think like, oh, this is actually really bad. What she tells Elphaba to do is to shut up. Like, she literally turns to Elphaba and she's like, oh, well, maybe you're wrong. Like, I'm just like, I remember sitting in the film and just being like, girl, like, are you okay? Or are you not okay? Clearly you're not okay. I am not a Glinda fan. I don't care. But at the same time, she's upholding the system, right? Because the system benefits her. The system benefits her, and her not upholding the system would go against her own personal goals of being a sorceress. Like, that's what she wants to be. And also there's a little bit of shock in there of like, oh, like everything I've known has been a lie. But instead of her to like get it together, what does she do? She immediately tells Elphaba to fall in line. And what does Glinda do? Well, she takes over the position that Elphaba was supposed to be in, I guess. And she becomes Glinda the Good Witch, and she lives in her literal bubble, that she just pops out to like speak to other people and then goes back into it. And basically, by her doing that and not actively fighting, she upholds the system. Now, if you come in my comments, listen, okay? Does she break the system? Does she do something different? You know what? I will reconvene this conversation when part 2 comes out. What I've personally seen, Glinda right now is upholding the system queen, and I'm gonna call it out. That's just the hot stinking truth, girl. That's just the hot truth. Don't take it up with me, take it with Glinda. But anyways, you guys, I just wanted to come and yap, and I just noticed the similarities between both of these characters, and I was just like, wow, like, this is really great social commentary. There's also a lot of racial commentary. It's not just a film, it's not just a fantasy film, it's commentary, babes. It's commentary. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys are interested, please check out my music on Deborah Music, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna watch Nosferatu, and you guys will definitely get a breakdown on that because I'm so interested in seeing a Lily Rose Depp project that like actually looks like it's gonna slap. Because The Idol, I don't know what that shit was. That shit was crazy. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.